It's been like forever and a day, which I know I say every single time I open a video, but this one is really long. I literally think my last video was like 6 months ago, but in my defense, I had a really good reason for being gone, and that was I had to graduate. I had like some credit transfer issues when I transferred schools, and I had to redo a couple of years, literally, and I also had a mental health crisis, which lasted multiple years and got in the way of my progress a little bit. So yes, I'm an adult. Yes, in Canada, I can drink in public. But I also did just graduate high school. And that's how it goes. And I'm just happy that I'm done. I'm moving for college to literally northern Vermont, like right on the Canadian border, basically. And I don't have a winter coat. I don't have mittens. I don't have gloves. I don't have a scarf that wraps around more than once, and the scarf that I do have is cotton. I don't have any cowls. I don't have any like face coverings. I have one fingering weight hat. That's what I have. And this past winter was actually really cold here where I live, and I was like, man, I need more sweaters because it's like 30 degrees every day and I'm wearing a sweater every day. And it seems like I have a lot of sweaters. I don't have nearly enough sweaters to wear a sweater every day. I just don't. And so I was rotating the same like 2 or 3 sweaters every single day. And I don't really want to do that when I'm going to be living somewhere where it's sweater weather the whole time I'm there. So I need to knit more stuff from literally every category except maybe socks. And that is where this video comes into play, because this is kind of a way for me to organize my thoughts and my feelings and my plans and my desires and to keep track of all of it. And I kind of want to do like a series of little project vlogs where I take you across the summer knitting all of these little things that I need. So here's what I need. Strap in. First of all, like I said, I need sweaters. I am mostly a sweater knitter. I, however, don't necessarily have all the kinds of sweaters that are going to be really practical in A, this environment, and B, a dorm. I'm living in a nice dorm because I'm in the honors program, but it's a dorm. It's still a dorm. So the sweaters that I make are going to have to be either machine washable or won't really need to be washed a lot. And what I have right now are a lot of like fingering weight, base layer kind of sweaters, and a lot of them are like cashmere blends and that sort of thing that I can't really put in the washing machine, or at least don't trust to put in the washing machine. So I'm gonna have to not replace them, but I'm going to have to knit. My plans are to do some chunky knits that are like non-superwash and just a layering piece that I don't really have to wash. And then anything that is lighter has to be completely superwash, so that if I want to wear it with nothing under it or with like just a tank top or something and risk it getting sweaty or whatever, I need to be able to chuck it in a machine. The next thing is mittens, because I don't have gloves and my fingers get really, really cold in the winter as it is. And I don't have gloves and I don't have mittens. I'm gonna do a tabby mitten, which is a mitten that has like a separate loose finger. You'll see a picture of it. Like your index finger is separate and then the rest of your fingers are together like a mitten. It's like a hybrid between a mitten and a glove. I think that's gonna be really practical for me personally, because it'll give me the warmth of a mitten and the ease of knitting of a mitten with a little bit of extra dexterity. I want them. I think they're going to be really practical. The next category is neckwear. Like I said, I have one scarf. Oh, you can't see it, but it's like, I have a bust. I have a bust of Brutus on this shelf here, and he's wearing the scarf. It's very small. It's very little, okay? It fits on the bust much better than it fits on a human being. I need some actual warm neckwear. And my plan is to do cowls, because I just think that that's going to be a lot easier and quicker, not only to knit, but also to actually wear and style and transport. And I've started one already, but I think I'm going to restart it because it's just stockinette. It's kind of boring. But this is going to be an infinity cowl. Whoa, look at that blue. It's actually even more intense in person, if you can believe that. But this is Kelborn Woolens Perennial held double. It's beautiful. It's like a Surrey, I think it's like a Surrey and merino blend. It's lovely, but I do think that either maybe some cables or some texture, even just like a broken rib or something, I think would be a little more fun. Last category, which I'm mentioning last because I only need like one and I'm already halfway through it, is hats. So like I said, I have one hat that's fingering weight. Now it is fingering weight, but it's all fisherman's rib. or brioche. It's all brioche. So it is pretty warm and plush, but it's not super warm, you know? So I think I need at least one hat that is warmer, like a DK or worsted weight, and potentially a hat at a sock weight. Maybe. I don't need one, but it might be nice. So I've been working on this hat, which is like a DK worsted weight. I don't think the cables are showing up that well, but it's XO cables all the way through with just a two knit stitch panel in between them. This is just a self-drafted hat. I'm not using a pattern or anything. And the yarn that I'm using is actually a wholesale yarn, I believe. It's just merino with neon tweed. I believe that Moondrake Co. uses this to dye one of their like ultraviolet stardust style yarns. This is the DK version, but you can just get it wholesale for like $10 a skein, and that's what I did. Or wholesale like undyed. So I just got one skein of it undyed. So this is pretty low priority because I am already like halfway through it, and it's just a hat, and it's also a really chunky thick hat that I'm probably not going to need September 1st when I get there. I might, but probably not. So my priorities right now are on the sweaters, which take the most time and which I need more of, right? I can wear the same hat every day. I can't really wear the same sweater every day. And I think the mittens, I think those are going to be my priorities right now. I think, because those are what sound most appealing, and I would rather chase the interest that I have. So with the intro out of the way, now I can talk about what I've actually been making. So you can maybe see behind me, I've got some sweaters and stuff. I'm going to show those to you. So firstly, I can't decide the priming. So firstly, we've got this one here. This is my grist pullover by Jared Flood of Brooklyn Tweed. I don't know that you're going to be able to see it that well. I have taken pictures of it worn, and I showed it off on my last podcast, which was in like March, I think. But I finished this in April. I actually was able to wear this on my trip up to visit the university in Vermont. Unfortunately, it's not that easy to see the texture, but it's a really beautiful sweater. It's really comfortable, and it's completely machine washable. So this is one of those sweaters that I can have as like a fingering, almost like a base layer, that I can throw on kind of like a t-shirt or like a thermal, is that what you call it? Like a thermal layer, and be able to put this in the washing machine if it gets like sweaty or gross or whatever. And this is the kind of thing that I'm sort of chasing for anything lightweight, is I want to be able to just throw it in the machine, because I do prefer to wear lightweight knits as a base layer as opposed to layering them on top of other things. So first up is this beauty. Now, I'm actually not completely sure how well it's going to show on camera, and I have all these little yarn ends and stuff, but this is a garment that had a really turbulent history. So here it is. Take a look. It's all over color work, all the way down to the bottom. It's all sock yarn. The lighting in here, because it's like 6 o'clock and it's cloudy, doesn't do this justice, but I can put up some photos and stuff of this in all of its glory. It's really beautiful. This sweater is based off of the Wanderlust sweater by Olga Putano. I believe it's called Wanderlust. It's not actually a pattern I would recommend. I bought the pattern and I knit from the pattern, and I found the grading of the upper body and the neck to be really poor. And for me, with my size, I was on gauge and I couldn't even get my head through the hole. And that was before the ribbed collar was even on. And that was also for the size like large or extra large. So the grading I found to not be awesome, but the charts and everything have a lot of effort put into them. So I'm not like, ooh, stay away, don't use that pattern, but caution, you might have to fix some stuff or deal with kind of a weird fit. What I ended up doing is just taking the chart and completely improvising my own actual sweater, and I'm really happy with it. And the great thing about this is that being all over color work fingering weight, it's relatively light, but it's a little warmer than a fingering weight sweater would normally be. And this is made entirely out of superwash merino sock yarn, and it can be machine laundered. And as you might be able to tell by the drape of this, I've already blocked this once, and there was no bleeding at all. So I'm not really worried about laundering this. I'm in the home stretch. I'm almost done with the first sleeve, and then I've just got one more sleeve, and it'll be done. The next project I've got is using some yarn that I actually bought while I was in Boston. I only bought one quantity of yarn because I'm really not a like single skeins of yarn person. I don't like having single skeins in my stash. So when I buy yarn, I basically always opt for a sweater quantity. And because I always opt for a sweater quantity, I only bought one yarn while I was there. But it was this yarn, La Mana Como, which is a 100% super, or not superwash, it's a 100% non-superwash, superfine merino yarn at, online, I think it says it's a DK. I would call it a sport. I'm getting like a 5.5 stitch gauge with this right now, and it's beautiful. It's really, really soft for a non-superwash yarn. It's also extremely light. There's, I think, 250 meters in this, or 120, I don't remember. There's 120 meters in here, and only 25 grams, which is really, really light. That's about like half the density of a normal sport weight yarn. So I am quite sure that this is woolen spun. I knew what I had to do with this was cables. That's what I wanted to do, and that's what I'm doing. This is just self-drafted. It is based off of an existing sweater pattern. I'll put a picture of it up and the name of the pattern and the designer. Can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but as of right now, this sweater is only available in a book. And the book, while I do want to knit a lot of the patterns out of it, it's a $50 book. And as of right now, this is the one that I wanted to make. And I was like, I don't really want to buy a $50 book right now. So I will just self-draft something that has a couple of the motifs kind of approximately, but make it a little more my own, make it a little simpler. And that's what I'm coming up with. I think it's really nice. I'm in the middle of a row, unfortunately, but I'm loving it. And this is not even 20 grams of yarn. The intention for this is for this to be a like loose fit, drop shoulder, so I can just throw it over a t-shirt or something and really easily be able to take it on and off, and hopefully won't have to wash it very often. So for right now, my goals are to finish this up and just make as much progress as I can on this project here. And I will hopefully be able to document a lot of that process. Sorry, I'm really tired. I hopefully will be able to document a lot of that process, take you along with me, and hopefully I will be able to get both of those done quickly enough to actually have like a full vlog made out of this, or at least out of this one, so that I can have some entertainment for you guys. Sorry for like the shaky cam, I'm holding it. But a few days ago, I did end up finishing the first sleeve on my Colorwork Wanderlust sweater, one of the two. I finished the first sleeve on it, but I ran out of yarn. So I went ahead and I ordered some more yarn. But for now, I've mostly been focusing on some other stuff, which you will have seen. But I've also been working on my cable sweater. It's down there, as you can see. And I'm really liking it so far. I'm in bed right now. I'm really tired, and I've done like 12,000 steps today. But there it is. I did want to give you an update. Like I said, I did order that last skein of yarn. I think I should only need one more to do the second sleeve. I think. I do actually have a little bit of yarn left over that I haven't touched yet, but I knew it was not going to be enough for a whole sleeve. But I did buy a second skein in like a pollen-y, citrusy, yellow-green color that I really like, which I may put towards a pair of mittens or a cowl or socks. Hi. Excuse, I don't know if you can even see that I'm in pajamas, but I am in pajamas. There's also a little bit of a mess around me. It's laundry day. We're just gonna deal with that. I've had a really productive, good day today, and I wanted to show you some of the projects that I've been working on. I hope you can't hear what I'm doing right now. I did this wrong. I do believe that I told you about the fact that I had finished up the second sleeve or the first sleeve on my color work sweater that I was working on. Let me pull that out so you can kind of see what it looks like. And this has, I did give this a mid-project block. I think I've mentioned it already. I did give this a mid-project block after the body was done, but before the sleeve was done. So you can see it is pretty drapey and it's sitting pretty nicely. So here's what it looks like right now. Here's what the first, there we go. Here's what the first sleeve looks like. It's pretty loose, but that's how I wanted it to be for layering purposes. And the cuff is really short. I really did this because I ran out of yarn, but I'm actually fairly pleased, I would say, with the shorter cuff. I think it matches, it pretty much matches the neckband. It's not quite as thick, but it pretty much matches. It's not a big deal. And this little short cuff will, I think, more comfortably allow me to roll the sleeve up, which is what I typically do. Sorry about that. My sister wanted to show me the blueberries that she picked in the garden. So it's been a little bit later and it's suddenly really bright in here. Is what it is. But yeah, I got the first sleeve done. I'm just going to wait until the yarn gets here. I'm not going to fuss with the leftovers that I have. And I'm hoping I leave for a trip, which I will be vlogging a little bit of. I leave for a trip exactly a week from today, next Tuesday. I leave for a trip. And that's not the kind of thing that I want to bring traveling anywhere because it's a big project and it's got a lot of different yarns going at the same time. So in an ideal world, I actually want to finish this before that trip and potentially even like get it washed up, get it dried, get it blocked, and actually bring it with me to wear on that trip. Where we're going, the weather gets really crazy sometimes. Like in the mornings or at night, it can be like 40 degrees, even if in the day it's almost 90. So I'm going to bring something like a warm layering piece anyway, and I may bring that one if it's done. We'll see. It's not really a big deal either way. I also wanted to show you the progress on my cable. So I guess I was thinking like what's the name of this? It doesn't have a name. I made it up. But I wanted to show you the progress on this back panel. Oh gosh, look how good that looks. That looks so good in this lighting, so you can really see the shadow and the depth of all the different cables. So here's what it's looking like. If I can actually get it to sit straight. Here's what it's looking like so far. I do feel like I need just a little bit more space at the underarm, just a little bit, just a couple of more rows down there at the underarm. And you might be able to see here, I did do some sweater surgery. I'm pretty sure I showed you what the sweater looked like originally. It continued to come up a little bit and it was going to give me too small of a neck hole. Luckily, this is non-superwash yarn, so it's really easy to do surgery with. I just inserted a lifeline, and then I cut a couple of rows past the lifeline and unraveled the rest. You might be able to see by these ends that it wasn't a perfect job, but it's non-superwash. It's pretty secure. I don't feel like any of this is going to come undone, and I also unraveled backwards, so the stitches are actually pretty much locked in that way. I'm just going to leave this lifeline in. When I do the neckline, I'm just going to include these stitches as the like neckline pickup, so I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, that's what that's looking like. I really think it's beautiful, and this is one of the probably 2 projects that I'm going to be bringing with me on my vacation. Okay, so it is the next day, and my final skein of Miss Bab's Yummy 2-ply in white peppercorn has arrived. It took almost no time to get to me. I ordered it like Friday evening, and it shipped, I think, on Monday, and it's, what is today, Wednesday? But Miss Bab's, I didn't know this. They're based in Tennessee, so I guess no shit, but I didn't realize that. It got to me really, really quickly. I do believe it's a perfect color match. It doesn't look to me like there's any kind of dye lot issue here, and it's also color work. It'll be fine. So to be honest with you, don't really feel like knitting on that project right now, but I will start that as soon as possible, and I should be able to finish that sleeve at the very least before we leave for our trip. The next thing that I did say I got an extra skein of yarn just as a little treat. And here it is. It's the same yarn base, so it's Yummy 2-ply in the colorway Sorrel. Ooh, it's not showing up well on camera. It's not showing up well on camera. I might take a picture and put that in because it looks very yellowy. It looks very yellow. It looks kind of gray even on camera. It might be because the light's behind me. I don't know. It doesn't look that nice on camera, but in person, it's just a really beautiful, perfect kind of like fennel seed green color. I don't know. It's a cool or like mid-tone green. It's pretty light. It's got just a little bit of tonality to it. I don't know why I'm showing it off as if you can see the color accurately, but this color came and I was like, this is really cute. This is even cuter than I thought it was going to be. And originally I wanted to do a cowl, but I realized I don't think this is enough yarn for a cowl because I like to do the ones that are like, it's a tube that you make all the way around. And I was thinking like when I do, because it would be about the actual cast on circumference would be about the same as a hat, a little smaller, but about the same. And I was thinking about it and I was like, well, when I knit a fingering weight hat, I usually use pretty much the whole skein of yarn, the whole 100 grams on the hat. And granted, that's, the whole hat, I like a little bit of slouch, and I tend to like a folded brim. But even completely undone, it's usually, you can't hear me. It's usually only like, like that wide, and that's not long enough to comfortably wrap around my entire neck. So I was like, that's probably not great. But I remembered. I have a pattern from Rebecca Clow called, I believe, the Staffin Shawl. I'll put up a picture. It's just a little triangle scarf that's knit flat, and it has this fun, like, gansy texture that goes along it. And it is graded for a worsted weight, but it's the kind of thing that you either increase it out or decrease it out I believe you increase it out as you go, so you can kind of knit it to whatever size, whatever dimensions you want. So I should be able to make it with the finger weight yarn without issue and not run out of yarn. And I might not even need the whole skein, and I really hope that I don't, because this yarn would make the cutest pair of little like spring cable socks. And I'm aware that it's not spring, but they would be so freaking cute. I only would want it to be like a little ascot kerchief kind of thing. So hopefully I wouldn't need much more than like 50 or 75 grams for that. And I can knit a pair of shorties with 25 grams of yarn. So yeah, that's what's on my mind right now. Okay, so I'm admittedly feeling a little bit frustrated. And this is my fault. Like, this is fully my fault. I can't really complain. You can likely tell that there is a difference between these two shoulders. This one is way too long. This one is like 2 inches or something too long. Because I didn't mark down exactly what I did on the shoulder. I was just like, oh, I'll get it right the second time. I'll remember what I did. And I marked down the frequency of the increases and everything, but I did not mark, like, how often I was cabling and everything. Because on the back, I didn't have to, right? Because it's mirrored, so it doesn't matter. So if I accidentally do the cables, like too long before I cable or whatever, it doesn't matter. On the front, it matters. On the front, it matters because I'm doing the two sides separately. So I did a little bit of an oopsie daisy. And I'm going to have to rip back now. Either I can rip out both shoulders and completely redo them, or I can try just ripping out this one and redoing it to match this one more closely. If I ripped out both, I might be able to do them 2 at a time, which would be obviously quite helpful. I may do that, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Okay, hello. It is Saturday at about 2:30, which is a little bit late, but we had cleaners here today, so I had everything and they came in the morning, so I had to get everything shifted a little bit late. But I did do what I told you I was going to. Actually, I'm in the middle of a row, so let me knit the rest of this row so that I can actually show you comfortably. But I did start what I said I was going to, which is the 2 at a time, like shoulder, chest portion of the sweater. You know what I mean? so that instead of actually thinking about anything that I was doing, I could just, whatever I did on one side, copy over onto the other. And so far, it has been pretty successful. Let me see how I can kind of show this to you. So you can see, it's coming along. I might be able to kind of like fit this over my head. It's a very large neck hole right now. So yeah, I can pretty comfortably fit it. You probably can tell that I definitely need to add length. Like this is folded up, but that's as far as it goes down. I definitely need to add, I think, at least like half an inch or so of length to the back, which is a little bit annoying, but not the end of the world. And I do believe that I can spit splice this yarn. I do believe that I can just, you can also see I had some medication on my jaw and it rubbed off my shirt. Oops. But anyway, I do think that I can do some spit splicing. So having to join that extra yarn end won't be quite as annoying. But yeah, I'm relatively close to getting the fronts joined. It is a pretty large, wide neck hole. That is mostly on purpose, just because I know that for stuff like this, I like to have a really like large, thick collar, but I don't want it to be choking me. So I've got a bunch of space here so I can do a good like several inches of ribbing. I should also at some point be working on, my dog is right here and he's distracting me. I should at some point also be working on my colorwork sweater, but the place that we're going on our vacation, it's way up north, but every now and again they get a crazy heat wave. Alternates, oh, hello. Hi, you're so cute. So like 1 year it'll be really cool, really crisp, really beautiful weather, and the next year it'll be a heat wave and it'll be extremely hot. And like, is it a heat wave if it happens every other year? I don't know. I gotta move my knitting because you're gonna paw all over it. You are very attention seeking today. He's splooting on me. You are so cute. This is supposed to be one of those years where the highs are gonna be in the 90s, which is, for where I live, not that hot. But the thing is, this is up north and there's no air conditioning. So I most likely will not need a sweater. I may still try to finish it before then. I do still have a little bit of time and the sleeve shouldn't take that long, but not quite as necessary as I thought it was going to be. One thing that I am going to do is I want to cast on the project with that green yarn that I bought the other day. I'll go get it. Bailey wants to play, so you're going to be hearing like dog play noises over here. Yes. This is the yarn. In the light of day, it looks a lot closer to the actual color that it's supposed to be. But I've decided what I'm going to cast on with this. I think I already mentioned it, but I'm going to repeat myself just in case. I'm planning on going with a staffin shawl, and I'm just going to cast it on and build it out and make it as long as it needs to be. Because while I wanted to do a cowl, a little triangle scarf will fulfill the exact same need, and I can use as much or as little yarn as I want. And I also think that that's going to be a really good, like, small, portable, lightweight project to be working on, especially given it's going to be so warm. So it is Monday night. I am holding my microphone because it died and it has to be on the charger right now. And I've packed for my trip, and I packed up my laptop, which I use as an outlet to charge everything. So because it's packed up, I'm using my little portable thing, and it's heavy. So I have to hold this. But anyway, I didn't film anything from my like knit meet last night because it actually wasn't a normal meeting. It was a surprise party for me, for my like graduation and going away and whatnot. And it just didn't seem like I didn't have an opportunity and didn't desire to record B-roll. I just didn't. But it was really sweet. It was really wonderful. It is one of the kindest gestures I've ever received from any group of human beings. And I had a great time. It was really fun. Everybody got together, got me a very thoughtful gift, and it was just wonderful. Just because there was like a dozen people there and they didn't necessarily all consent to have their faces be on YouTube, I can't necessarily show you that footage, but what I can show you are the fruits of my labor. So first, the less interesting one, my sweater. I've made some progress on the neckline. You can tell I've got probably at least 1.5 inches going, and I want like 2 to 3 inches of ribbing there. I'm basically gonna knit ribbing until it looks like I have too much. I think that's like, it looks like I just have too much. I think that's what I'm gonna do, because normally when I knit to where it looks perfect, then it blocks and stretches a little bit. Like it stretches this way and it gets a little thinner. So I'm gonna knit until I think I have slightly too much. Okay, anyway, you can't really see the texture, but I think it looks quite good, and I think that it was kind of the perfect thing for me to cast on, because it's like, it's just stimulating enough without being completely mind engrossing. Like, it's a little bit more stimulating than just the plain ribbing on the neckline of the sweater, but it's also obviously a lot simpler than all of those cables and whatnot. And it's also a really tiny project on, at least so far it's really tiny, and it's very, very lightweight with superwash yarn, so it's not super hot. So it's perfect for yesterday in the warm yarn store, and it's also going to be perfect for this coming week and a half-ish that I'm going to be on vacation, because it will be warm where I'm going. Sorry for lighting, it's late. Today is July 3rd, and I just saw on Instagram an announcement from Explore Knits and Fibers that they are doing an in-stock update on their website on Sunday. It's Friday, yeah. So July 5th, they're doing the in-stock update, and I don't know if I said so in this video, I think I did, but I have a gift card to Explore Knits and Fibers, and they have not had anything in stock for a couple of weeks now. And I'm thinking of getting something. And they're saying that they are going to have more of the color that I like in stock. But they're only going to have one skein. Which to me, to be honest with you, feels kind of crazy. Like, why bother with one skein? But another color that I like, they're going to have 32 skeins of. I'm also specifically looking at like thicker yarns like DK and whatnot. So some of them, they might have a sweater quantity in fingering, but not one in DK. So I'm not sure. I'm definitely going to shop it. I will be setting a timer or setting an alarm or whatever. I'm setting a reminder for myself to go on the website at that time on that day to check things out. But I don't want to feel obligated to buy something. You know, I just wanted to tell you. You're so big. Look at you. I'm a friend. I'm a friend. I'm not trying to eat you. I'm a friend. I'm not for you. Hi, I'm aware that this is a really weird setup. I'm in the bathroom right now, because I have to wash my sweater whip. So you might be able to hear, it's the 4th of July evening right now. It is about 10 o'clock, and that's really when 10 o'clock is where the fireworks tend to go really crazy in this town, because we come here every year for 4th of July. But unfortunately, I have a little dog who doesn't like fireworks. He's very scared of them, and I've done my best to help him, like, get over that, but he's scared of them. And I had just taken him out, and I took like 4 seconds to go outside for something. I come back in, and he fear peed on my whip. So I'm giving it a nice soak in Dr. Bronner's lavender soap, which it's not a wool wash, but it's good enough. It's what I have. If it's good enough for my skin and also my floor, then it's good enough for my sweaters. He's traversing a great distance. So yes, I look busted. It's mostly the lighting, the really harsh lighting in this area, but you probably saw in my last clip, wow, I look actually a mess. I haven't, whatever, it's fine. You would have probably seen in the last clip that my sweater that I'm working on just was not fitting correctly. The back looked way too long, and the front not only wasn't quite long enough, but also, perhaps more importantly, was doing this. And I think that that's because when I worked the short rows on the front, I think that I actually did them wrong. I think I actually made a milder slope than it should have been on accident, I think. I thought that the frequency that I was doing was correct to match up exactly with the back, but it must not have been to create that look. So I'm gonna do some short rows in the front, and I'm a little bit nervous. I think I should be able to make them pretty discreet, but I am nervous. So I'm going to do some short rows in the front to try and fix this crescent shape. I would kind of rather it, I would rather it do this than do this. Maybe, not sure. That's what I'm gonna do first. After I've done that, I'm going to assess how everything is laying, and I may change the ratio between the back and the front a little bit. I might add more length to the front, I might add more length to the back. I'm just gonna figure it out from there. The only thing that I'm worried about is matching up this particular cable, because the other ones are not as big of a deal. It's this one, because it's such a big repeat. I'm a little bit nervous about getting it to match quite right, but I'm gonna figure it out. We'll see. Friends, so it is the next evening. As you can tell, I'm cleaned up. I've shaved and washed my hair and put fresh acne patches on. But I did the short rows. You can see there's like a little curve. I didn't manage to get it completely flat. I probably could with enough math, but one thing I'm not about to do is math. One thing I'm not about to do is math. So I just figured it out. I will tell you. It carries the potential of having like a little bit of a bulge when it sits flat, maybe. The current shape is like, you can see that, right? Like it's not flat, like it comes out a little in the middle and then comes back up and then goes back down is the shape, which is fine. I think I would prefer this to just the extreme thing it was doing before. I'm hoping it should still fit a lot better now than it did before, hopefully. I am a bit worried about the hem and how everything's going to sit, and the fact that I might get a little bit of a bulge in the fabric, which is just something that happens with short rows sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. It's just part of how they work. I'm hoping either that doesn't happen at all, or if it does happen, it will either be blocked out or it will be managed by a split hem. I do want to put a split hem on this sweater, I think. I'm not entirely sure like how deep I want it to be and exactly what I want the ribbing to look like. But for some reason, to me in my head, I'm like, this sweater needs a split hem. And I do feel like making the bottom edge of the sweater open instead of circular in the round is going to help mitigate any chances of the fabric bulging out there. Then beyond that, I actually think that once I completely join this round, I'm literally like 10 stitches from joining this in the round. I think I'm probably going to resume work on my staffin shawl. I remember the name of it. My staffin shawl. Because I'd really like to have this done by the end of this trip. And it's the 7th today, and I go home on the 9th. Or I start going home on the 9th. And then on the 11th, we should arrive home on the 10th. And then on the 11th, I have a yarny thing to go to that I want to like get B-roll for the next vlog. So I want to have all of this done. I want to have all of this done, not necessarily like edited and posted by then, but like I want to have all of the clips, everything gathered by then and have it done. And I really want to have at least one project actually completed, because I've shown you a lot of things that it's like, oh, this is almost done, it's gonna get completed, and then it just didn't. So yeah. So I'm filming with one hand. You can see my dad in the background. Hopefully you can see the shawl is done. I did block it. I can't remember now if I included any footage of it like while it was wet or while I was blocking it, but I did block it. It is super, super drapey and flowy, and really quite fine as well. I don't know if you can see it like that, the light coming through. It's pretty light. I can wear it like this, or I can wear it reversed with the knot in the front. I quite like it. I love this shade of green, and we're going to dinner tonight to like kind of a somewhat nice place, and I'm thinking of maybe wearing it.